So here we are in the main part of the garden. You can see there's a lot going on, but today we're going to focus here on my native area.
Hi, I'm Monty and I run Lost Foods Native Plant Nursery, and we're located at Redwood Acres, and we're open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from noon to 6 for native plant sales. And we grow native plants that are native to Humboldt County, and we try to promote their plantings in urban areas or in our agriculture systems as well. So we study their benefits for attracting pollinators and butterflies and creating like sustainable urban areas, but we also have lots of edible native plants that can be incorporated into our agriculture systems and help increase our food diversity with plant species that have evolved here for millions of years, that are very drought tolerant and adapted to the local ecosystems and support our local ecosystems. So this plant right here next to me is a species of gum plant, and this is Grindelia stricta, but there are other species of gum plant, and it gets these really gooey, resinous, sticky, aromatic, and medicinal buds, and that's why it's called the gum plant. And the buds, and then as the buds mature, they open up into these really big yellow daisy-like flowers that are really attractive to all kinds of different pollinators and butterflies and beneficial insects. But the buds, before they flower, when they're full of this white resin, you can dry as a tea for respiratory problems or lung conditions, or you can make tinctures as well. And it's a big perennial, which can be like 3 feet by 3 feet or so, and tons of flowers, and it seems to be kind of a late bloomer where it starts blooming in the summer and it'll go till fall. And there's a mason bee right there getting it.
Oh, we scared him away.
I think that's a mason bee because they stick it to their butt. So another one of my favorites is the checker bloom, and California has many species of checker bloom. Humboldt does as well. Some of them are rare and endangered. This one is probably the most common, and the most common in the nursery trade. It's Sidalciae malviflora, and it's a perennial, so it comes back every year and makes a bunch of these really pretty pink flowers that are super attractive to all kinds of pollinators and butterflies and beneficial insects as well. And the plant itself is also a host to different butterfly larvae in the form of like caterpillars. And it's one of our favorite edible salad greens. So before it flowers, like in late winter, early spring, or through spring till summer, it's developing a lot of really nice green leaves that are really delicious in salads, and they look really pretty on a salad plate. And then as it starts making its flower stalks, it kind of stops focusing on leaf development, and we just let it go and do its flowers and make its seeds at that point. But
Monty, will you mention what you told me when you sold me those about leaving the stalks for pollinators to nest in?
yeah, so when these finish flowering and go to seed, and during the winter they'll turn into dead stalks, and lots of flowers have dead stalks, and most of them become hollow as they dry, and those hollow cavities are the perfect thing that different insects need to overwinter. So checker bloom has some of the perfect size stalks for many different insects and bees to find shelters in these hollow tubes and be protected from the environment. And but there are other plants like the angelicas that have bigger flower stalks and all different sizes for all different kinds of pollinators. So sometimes we'll leave the dead flower stalks on through the winter, and sometimes if you want it to look a little more tidy, we'll chop them off. But then we'll try to place them in like a sunny spot in the yard where the insects can still utilize that habitat. So butterflies, so there's specific butterflies that use checker bloom. There's specific butterflies that use angelicas. There are specific butterflies that use all different kinds of plants. And 95% of butterfly larvae depend on species that they co-evolved with to lay their caterpillars. And the caterpillars really can't eat any other thing except for the plants that they evolved with. So the the caterpillars that eat the checker bloom can't eat the angelica, and they can't eat this and they can't eat that. They need the checker bloom. So when the checker bloom is missing in the environment, the butterfly can't find a place to lay its eggs, and the caterpillars don't form, and then caterpillars are also one of the biggest food sources for our local birds during nesting season. So the lack of food just goes all the way up the food chain when you're missing native plants in your landscape.
One of the things that I've loved about the checker bloom, I just planted it last year, and I started with, I think, maybe 5 plants or maybe 3 plants in this area, and they self-seeded so prolifically that it's just like this dense hedge of checker bloom that's so pretty. And some more over there.
Yeah, and I'd say it's kind of a later bloomer too, where it starts blooming in the summer and it'll keep blooming till fall. And so pollinators need nectar and things all through the season, so it's really important to have some species that bloom later, and I'm sure that there's a ton of things blooming earlier in the spring, and different plant species bloom different times of the year to provide the needs for their pollinator friends and companions.